Well, we do have a few new cards as well to talk about. I mean, I guess we did just talk about some new cards, but these are a little different because these are ones that we'll be getting sooner
Yeah.
in our upcoming sets. So let's hop on over. Shout outs to Twan, as always, for the translations. First one here, we got Mega Badoo EX with the ability Bud Bod. I'm just kidding. Bro,
This would be pretty good though.
would this
That
be
H-Year
broken?
Pollen. Yeah, 70 damage for a colorless energy.
It's your 260 HP, three prizes, though.
I think it'll be pretty
Balance.
broken.
Prevent all
Code is
damage done
back.
to this Pokemon while your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand. Yeah, this card would be
Oh my
broken.
gosh, yeah, this would be insane. I own them up to 6 and then item lock them.
So sick. All right, for real though, I mean, in this, it's not quite as good as Mega Badoo EX, but this one is definitely pretty strong, and that is Shaman from Scarlet Violet 9A with the ability Flower Curtain. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Prevent all damage done to your benched Pokemon that don't have a rule box by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon.
So this is effectively a reprint of a bench barrier. We've seen it with Mr. Mime, Mew, most recently Manaphy, and now we have the Shaman. But it is a little bit different. And I do like I did just mention like how they seem to be making things a little bit simpler in some aspects of the Pokemon TCG. Like Mega Pokemon are just stage 1 and stage 2 Pokemon, which is like fine. But then they do take things like this, which is like an adaptation of Bench Barrier, and I like what they did with it as well. They added a little bit more, I don't know, nuance to it to make it a little bit more interesting and make it not so kind of catch all. So I do like this, and that's what I was talking about as far as the game design goes. I feel like they've been doing really, really well lately, from keeping things simpler in some aspects and keeping things a little bit more nuanced in other aspects in the game. So I really like, if we're gonna bring back bench barrier, which I don't know if that's necessary, but they think it is. If we're gonna bring it back, something like this being the bench barrier we get, I like a lot more than just Manaphy or Mr. Mime 5.0 or whatever.
Yeah, worth noting, this thing does have 80 HP, so you cannot grab it with Buddy Buddy Poffin.
Yeah, that's another big one as well. And we do have a lot of Terra Pokemon currently that already protect themselves. So a lot of your rule box Pokemon are already protected. And that I assume that maybe this is like lining up as like one of the reasons why they kind of did that with Terra. One of the reasons they took that route. Um, but we know we'll eventually lose Terra Pokemon or lose some Terra Pokemon, or we'll get more Pokemon that aren't Terra Pokemon. And Shaman will still be here, right? Defending just the weaklings, the Dreepies and the Charmanders and the Pidgeys. It won't be able to protect your Pheasantippides and your Ice Rotom and Lumineon are rotating. Your Ogrepons will be safe. Your Dragapults will be safe, but Zoroark EX is not going to be safe from getting sniped, stuff like that, right? So, and the Megas are not going to be safe. The Shaman can't protect the Megas, so I really like this take on a bench barrier because that's basically what it is with the shaman. And yeah, the ADHP is also a good thing to point out as well. It's not going to be, you can't just go second Arvin for your second Buddy Poffin, double Buddy Poffin, triple Dreepy plus Shaman. Got to find an Ultra Ball or a Nest Ball and use that instead. Get a little bit less value to protect your bench. So I like it.
Got a couple more cards here. We got the Misty's Starmie, where it's Sudden Flash 60 plus. If this Pokemon evolved from Misty's Staryu this turn, this attack does 80 more damage.
Yeah. So this isn't anything too crazy. It's a nice one prize attacker, and it's obviously just there as fodder for Misty's Gyarados, which like what discards the top 7 or 5 cards of your deck and does like 70 or 80 damage for each Misty's card you discarded. And it seems
Yeah.
like this is going to be the extent of the Misty's card. So Gyarados is the big Misty's deck or whatever that we're getting.
Well, there might be an ultra rare Misty's Pokemon. We haven't seen that yet, right?
It's quite a few Misty cards already though now. I think that's going to be it. I don't think we're going to get an ultra rare,
Hmm. We'll have to see. Yeah.
which isn't inherently a bad thing either though. Like just the one prize Gyarados deck is fine, I think.
We've got a new Hydrapple, 170 HP, stage 2 grass type Pokemon with Hydra Breath. Discard 6 basic grass energy from your hand. Otherwise, this attack does nothing. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now knocked out.
Yeah. I don't know about this one to be honest. It's a stage 2. That's kind of the biggest hold up here. If it's a stage 1, I mean, getting 6 grass energy in your hand, even with a stage 1, is still pretty tough. We got superior energy retrieval. We have the 5 Night Stretcher card,
Max Rod.
Max Rod. So it's not impossible, but Yeah, setting up a stage 2 and doing it multiple times does not seem really very realistic. Maybe in a Mega
I
Pokemon format,
mean,
though.
we've got Earthen Vessel, right? We've got
You need a lot.
bug catching sets.
I don't know. You have to do
We've
it multiple
got
times, though. I mean, maybe there's something
yes.
else in the deck. Maybe there's something else in the deck they're
All I
comboing.
gotta say is like usually when an attack says the whatever the thing is in the active spot is knocked out, it's like popped up every once in a while, right? It's
Yeah,
not like this is gonna be a meta card. Like B Drill wasn't a top tier card necessarily, but
pop up.
Arceus B Drill was pretty decent with the single strike mustard play, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And that just one hit KO'd whatever your opponent's active was. So
Very true.
I don't know. Like, obviously, this is a little bit more in depth. You got to kind of build a deck around this strategy. But I could see a world where if like mega Pokemon are dominating the game, all of a sudden someone rolls up with their high Drapple deck and they just have to get 6 energy in their hands 2 times and they win the game.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's definitely possible. We'll see. Yeah, once the Megas come out, there's more validity for the card for sure.
We've got a Crustle here with the ability Boulder Guard. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX.
Yeah, so another wall Pokemon, specifically only from EX Pokemon, but I guess that makes sense because rotation's about to hit.
And then
So
Great Scissor for the attack for a grass and 2 colorless. This attack's damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon.
I'm sure we'll see this pop up at some point, either in a wall deck or by its like Quad Crustle. Is this the new Decidueye? We're gonna have
Just
like
keep rolling up
the Crustle flow chart or whatever. It's like the now is correct to play Crustle.
as the meta shifts and changes.
Yeah.
We've got MC's Hype, a new supporter card. Draw 2 cards, and if your opponent has 3 or fewer prize cards remaining, draw 2 more cards. It's just
This
another
card is
iteration
terrible.
of the draw 4 would be too powerful, so we're not going to give you draw 4. So here's a super convoluted way to sometimes draw 4.
This card is terrible. This is like the one of the worst draw fours ever, if not the worst draw four ever. So
Yeah,
bad.
it's not ideal. And then a brand new Judge artwork. It looks like Judge
Come
went back
around.
in time to like the 80s and went to the beach. You know,
Yeah. A lot of people were hating on this artwork from what I saw on Twitter as well. No one's a big fan.
I did see a
New
Judge
Judge.
artwork tier list that had this all by itself in D tier.
Yeah, I think I saw a similar one. Or maybe the same one. I don't know. It's not that bad. I don't know. He's getting groovy out there on the court, match, stadium, whatever.
Someone does point out here in the comments, though, it is still a G regulation mark. So it did not get an
Hmm.
updated regulation mark.
I assumed it was an updated regulation mark. It is not though. Yeah, interesting. So it seemed. I mean, that's not 100% tell that they plan for Judge to rotate, but it's kind of. I feel like if you're coming out with new artworks and then not giving them the updated regulation when it would be like time to give it to them, it kind of feels like it's like, yeah, they plan on rotating it. We'll see.